The Art of Confrontation. Sun Tzu, The Downfall of Hamas. In the age-old struggle for power and dominance, the clash of civilizations has taken on new dimensions. In the turbulent landscape of the Middle East, one of the most pressing conflicts is the enduring tension between Hamas and Israel. As we observe the recent developments in this ongoing conflict, it becomes evident that Hamas has set in motion a war that may very well spell their ultimate demise. In the tradition of the ancient strategist Sun Tzu, this essay seeks to shed light on the tactical errors of Hamas and the consequences they now face. Chapter 1: Provocation and the Unforeseen Reckoning. Sun Tzu once said, "In war, the way is to avoid what is strong and to strike at what is weak." Inexplicably, Hamas chose to take the path of provocation, initiating a confrontation with Israel. The consequences of such a hasty decision are dire. Like a street fighter who throws the first punch, they must be prepared for the retaliation that follows. In this analogy, Hamas finds itself nursing its own wounds. Chapter 2: The Victims of Manipulation. One of the most tragic aspects of this conflict is the innocent victims caught in the crossfire. The manipulation of the masses, especially the children, by Hamas and its backers is a deplorable act. Sun Tzu's wisdom teaches us that true strength is not derived from exploiting the vulnerable but rather from understanding the terrain and one's own capabilities. The deliberate use of civilian shields not only reflects poorly on Hamas but also undermines any moral high ground they might have sought. Chapter 3: The Art of Disintegration. As Sun Tzu aptly noted, all warfare is based on deception. It is perplexing that Hamas underestimated the strategic capabilities and resolve of Israel. Their hasty attack will lead to their disintegration, as the superior power of Israel seeks to protect its interests and security. The consequences they face are a direct result of their misguided actions. Chapter 4: Backers and Responsibility. In war, it is essential to recognize that support from allies can have significant implications. However, Sun Tzu's principles remind us that the ultimate responsibility lies with the party directly involved in the conflict. If Hamas's backers genuinely wish to be part of the fight, they should not shy away from the consequences that their involvement may bring. Just as Hamas faces repercussions for their actions, so too should those who aid and abet such conflicts. In conclusion, in the ancient art of war, as elucidated by Sun Tzu, the careful assessment of circumstances and a strategic approach are crucial for success. Hamas, in its impulsive decision to initiate hostilities, has failed to adhere to these timeless principles. Their actions will lead to their eventual downfall, and the consequences will be substantial. In the end, it is essential to recognize that conflicts have far-reaching impacts, affecting not only the direct parties involved, but also innocent civilians and geopolitical stability. As this current crisis unfolds, the wisdom of Sun Tzu serves as a stark reminder that rash decisions in the world of conflict often lead to disastrous outcomes. It is now incumbent upon Hamas and its backers to reevaluate their choices and consider the path of peace and diplomacy, for the cost of their current actions may prove insurmountable. Chapter 5: Historical Echoes in the Middle East. To fully comprehend the gravity of the situation and the potential consequences Hamas now faces, it is essential to delve deeper into the historical context of the Middle East, a region marred by centuries of conflict and shifting power dynamics. The Middle East has long been a crossroads of cultures and civilizations, a fact that has contributed to the complexities of its modern geopolitics. The Arab-Israeli conflict, of which Hamas is a significant player, traces its roots back to the late 19th and early 20th centuries. During this period, the region underwent significant changes with the decline of the Ottoman Empire and the rise of European colonialism. Chapter 6: The Birth of Israel and the Palestinian Question. One of the pivotal moments in the history of the Middle East was the Balfour Declaration of 1917, which expressed British support for the establishment of a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine. This declaration laid the groundwork for the eventual creation of the State of Israel in 1948. The ensuing Arab-Israeli conflicts, including the wars of 1948, 1967, and 1973, have had a profound impact on the region. Chapter 7: Hamas emerges. Hamas, a Palestinian nationalist and Islamist organization, emerged during the First Intifada in the late 1980s. Their initial focus was on grassroots efforts to resist Israeli occupation, but over time, they have evolved into a powerful political and militant force in the region. Hamas's influence in Gaza and the West Bank has disrupted the peace process and strained relations with Israel. Chapter 8: Lessons from the Past. The conflicts in the Middle East have often been characterized by a cycle of violence, negotiations, and further violence. This cycle has led to enormous human suffering, displacement, and instability in the region. One can draw parallels between Hamas's current actions and the historical patterns of the Arab-Israeli conflict. Chapter 9: The Geopolitical Landscape. Sun Tzu emphasized the importance of understanding the terrain, and in the case of the Middle East, the terrain is not just physical but also geopolitical. The region is a strategic hotspot, with various world powers vying for influence. Israel's alliance with the United States has given it significant military and economic support, which has only added to the complexity of the conflict. Chapter 10: The Consequences of Hasty Actions. In the grand theater of geopolitics, Hamas's decision to initiate hostilities without fully understanding the historical context and the geopolitical intricacies of the region may prove to be their undoing. Their actions risk further destabilization and suffering for the Palestinian people, as well as international condemnation. In conclusion, in the annals of Middle Eastern history, the Arab-Israeli conflict and its numerous protagonists, including Hamas, have played a central role in shaping the region's destiny. The historical echoes of the past, marked by a cycle of violence, failed negotiations, and geopolitical entanglements, serve as a stark backdrop to the current situation. In the spirit of Sun Tzu's wisdom, it is clear that a deeper understanding of the historical and geopolitical context is crucial for making informed decisions in the realm of conflict. Hamas's hasty actions may bring about their own demise, as they grapple with not only the might of Israel but the enduring legacy of a region marked by enduring struggles and complex rivalries. The path to lasting peace will require a strategic reevaluation and a commitment to diplomacy, for the Middle East has already seen far too much suffering.